Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a review on the UHWK action camera. I've had this camera for about a year and I can share my thoughts on it now, so let's jump right in. So I picked up my UHWK camera through their Kickstarter campaign a little over a year ago, but they sell them now through UHWK's website, SportCheck and HockeyMonkey.com. They also have different packaging now, as this is a dated box from their Kickstarter campaign. They now sell them in a much nicer box with a plastic enclosure. So now I'm going to be showing you a few things that you get in the box with the UHWK camera. There is plenty of mounts and foam support blocks within the box, but I'm only going to be showing you the mounts and the things that I actually use. So obviously the first thing that you're going to notice when you open the box is in fact the camera itself. On the top here it has an on-off switch, and then it also has a micro USB charging port and a micro SD card slot. And these pop open just like this, and they just snap shut. On the back it's just a bunch of screws and a flat plate, and then underneath you have some UHWK branding as well as the microphone for recording audio. Here you have the camera lens, and then this bird is actually a light up indicator that tells you when you're recording or when you are charging. Aside from that, in the box you also get this micro SD adapter. You get a nice little carrying sleeve that you can fit your camera into when you are traveling. You also get a cable to charge the device, and a power brick to go along with the cable. And then it comes with a variety of mounts. This one, for example, would be used to secure the camera to a lacrosse helmet or a hockey helmet. You would put the helmet screws through these holes, and then you would slide the UHWK camera through the elastics on the mount. And then this mount is held up together by Velcro, and it's got more elastics on it. This one would go on your forehead, and this mount would be best used for, say, tennis, soccer, or maybe basketball, and it would just help secure the camera on your forehead. So now I'm going to be talking about the quality of the camera itself. Obviously it's held itself up. I've had this camera for about a year, and I use it pretty often, and I haven't really had any issues with it either. The only issue I really have is if I get vigorous with it and shake it, the micro SD door actually does pop open. It's not that big of an issue, and it doesn't really affect the performance at all. The camera itself is made out of a nice material as well. It's made out of this soft plastic with a rubbery finish to it, and it's just a really durable material that holds up over time. So that's really nice to see on a camera like this. So now I'm going to be talking about the video quality of the UHWK camera. When you first get your camera, it'll come preset with a 720p 60 frames per second footage setting. You're going to want to change that, or at least I did, pretty quickly. I just found that the 1080p footage looked a lot better than the 720p. I kind of found the 720p footage to be a bit grainy, and yeah, so I'll put some 720p footage over top of this video right now, just so you guys can have kind of a look at that. Now I'll put some 1080p footage up for you to see. I noticed once I switched to the 1080p footage that the quality was a little bit better, and the drop in the frame rate actually wasn't that bad from 60 frames per second down to 30 on the 1080p footage. Overall I found the quality of the footage to be pretty fair. You know, I didn't really have any big issues with it, and it for the most part captured what I was trying to record. The only issue I had with the actual footage of the camera was the angle that the lens was on. I found that it wasn't catching as much of my stick handling or shooting as I would have liked it to. Obviously the camera just recorded where I was looking, and it didn't really have any downward angle to look at my stick or my skates, such as a GoPro would have if you were to angle the mount downwards. But other than that, there was no problems really with the footage, and it was an accurate representation of what I was looking at during the game. One last thing I also wanted to touch on in this video is the overall versatility of this camera. Obviously this camera is more based for sports such as lacrosse, hockey, basketball, stuff like that. And when compared to a GoPro is going to be a lot more versatile than this camera here. A GoPro can be strapped to, say, your bike, your car, your skateboard even, whereas this camera is pretty much only available to be strapped onto yourself while playing a sport. I was able to strap the camera onto a goalpost in my backyard on my hockey net. I'll play the footage for that, but overall this camera just isn't as versatile as a GoPro, and I figured I should note that in my review. Now that being said, when recording a hockey game, I would much rather have this UHWK camera than a GoPro camera. And the reason for that is just because this camera is a lot more light, it's a lot more compact, and it still does shoot 1080p footage, as well as it blends in with your hockey helmet a lot more than a bulky GoPro would with an over-the-helmet mount, whereas this just kind of streamlines right with your helmet, and most of the time the referee won't even notice it. Or I've even had it where players on my team don't notice it while they're talking to me on the bench. And so overall it's just a really sleek camera, and I would much rather prefer this in a hockey game than a GoPro. Another thing about this camera is it is a little hard to change settings. When you want to change your settings, you're going to have to plug your SD card into the computer, and you're going to have to go to a text file within the camera and physically change the settings yourself. So if you want to change it from 1080p to 720p, or say you just want to change the light exposure, it is a little difficult to do it, but once you get the hang of it, and once you've done it once, then you generally know how to do it, and it's pretty easy from there. So lastly, I'm just going to talk about my personal opinion on the camera. Overall, I think this is a really good camera, and it shoots really good footage, especially when I'm playing hockey or I'm doing sports like that. I would prefer this over a GoPro, but if you are using it for other things, such as like recording the side of your car, recording a bike ride, or places where you would need a more versatile camera, I would go with a GoPro rather than that. You can pick up a GoPro Session for about the same price as you can get this, and that would be a little more versatile for you. But if you're planning on using this to, I don't know, watch a hockey game, or record a soccer game, or record a lacrosse game, or something like that, you know, this camera is really great for that. It shoots good footage, and you can always watch back your footage and learn from the mistakes that you made in the game or in the practice. So it is a really useful tool for a hockey player, for, say, anyone who does sports. But that being said, it isn't as versatile as something, say, like a GoPro, where you can strap it to pretty much anything. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping for an action camera, and yeah, consider the UHWK. It is a really good camera, and I personally really like it for hockey. So thanks for watching my review, guys. If you have any questions about something I didn't cover about the camera, always drop a comment down in the comment section. I'll be sure to answer it. But for now, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.